Good morning to you all. Today, this is what I have for you, a sample superstore dashboard. Okay, so before we continue, kindly remember to subscribe, like, and share. For those of you who are just joining, watching my video for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, and share for more videos. For those of you who have been watching and have forgotten to subscribe, remember to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, so when you look at the screen here, we have a slicer which has the years, the various years. We have the KPIs, that is the number of orders. We have the number of orders trend and also the growth compared to the previous year. We have the sales, we have the profit. Down here, we have the sales by category. You can see the various categories here. If I select office supplies, you will see it various subcategories. The same thing applies to technology and also furniture. We have the sales by segment, home, office, corporate, consumer. We have the sales by state. And here you can see there is a note that says hover on a state to view sales by its cities. So when I hover on California, for example, this is what we have: San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. This is a dummy data actually. Okay, so when you hover on Texas, this is what you have, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there is also another tooltip here for the sales by regions. So you can see we have four regions: central region, east, south, and west. So if you hover on it, you have the sales trend. Okay, we have the sales by subcategories. This is spread uh, across the months in the year. And then you can see even there is a bar here. I use a matrix, and it's a combination of matrix and the bar chart. And then here we have the sales by manufacturer. In this data, we have 6 manufacturers. So you can see their growth also here, the a bar indicating the sales and also the numbers here. Okay, so without wasting too much time, let's go and open a new Power BI desktop page for us to start designing this. Okay, so let's get our file. It's a CSV file, Superstore data. Okay, I'll make this also available for you to practice along. Okay, so let's go to transform data. When you select transform data, it takes us to the Power Query editor. Guys, remember to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, so I don't want us to use the file as it is. I want us to do a bit of data modeling. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I want to separate this column. I want to have a different table for this column so that we can now create a relationship between this mother table and the newly created one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just duplicate this. I have done this in many of my videos. For those of you who are just joining or who are watching my video for the first time, you can still get something from it. You can also go to the previous one to look at it. The more you practice, the more you learn, the more you get used to it. Okay, so we have ship mode. What I want to do is I'll just right click on this column. I'll remove all other columns. Okay, I'll right click again and I'll remove duplicate from it. Okay, because we want to have them unique. The next thing to do is there should be a column that is going to help us link this to the other one. Okay, so what I want to do is to add a new column, and then it's going to be an index column starting from 1. Okay, so I'll click this and then I'll change the name to ship mode ID. I can change the name here. I can also come here and double click and get it. Okay, so ship mode ID. Excuse me. Okay, then I can drag it here. Yeah, so I'll change the name of this to dimension, that's dim ship mode. Okay, so we have few more to do. So I'll right click, duplicate. I'll right click, duplicate. I think I need four more. So let me try again, duplicate this and add another one, duplicate. Okay, so the next one is going to be segment. Okay, so I'll right click segment, remove all other columns. I'll right click again, remove duplicate. I'll go here. I'll make sure I go to this tab, add column. Remember, for those of you who have been doing this with me in the previous videos, this is okay. You can just pause it, do it, and then when I finish, we can continue. Okay, so starting from one, and then here we change it to segment ID. Okay, so we bring this segment ID here. That is fine. So I'll double click, change the name to dim segment. Okay, so the next one is going to be, I don't need a customer ID and customer name, so that will be taken care of later. The next one is going to be state, but here we have state, we have region and city, and I want to combine the three of them. So I'll select state. I'll put my finger on the control key on the keyboard. Then I'll go all the way to region, hold the control, select region. Then I'll scroll again, select city. Right click, remove all other columns. Okay. And then because there are three columns here, I cannot just right click on state and say remove duplicate. So I'll just select it from here and say remove duplicate. Okay, then I'll go back to my add column tab here. Then I'll add an index column that will be renamed to region ID. Okay, so region state here we have duplicate just because of the city. Region as well we have duplicate. So city is what we have unique. Okay, so let me make it city ID. Okay, so that's good. Now this is going to be dim city. What do we have next? The next one is going to be category and subcategory. I don't want to separate them. I want them, both of them to be in the same table. So I'll select, right click, remove all other columns. I'll click here and say remove duplicate, and then I'll go to this tab here, add column, index column from 1, and this is going to be renamed to subcategory ID. Okay, so this is going to be dimension table, so subcategory. Okay, the last one is going to be our manufacturer. Okay, so I'll right click here, remove other columns. I'll right click again. If I don't want to right click, I can just go here, remove duplicate, and then I'll go to index column starting from 1, and this is going to be manufacturer ID. Okay, and I'll change the name here. Let me just copy this from here, come down here, double click, dim manufacturer. Okay, so let's change this name here, maybe fact superstore. Okay, so now we need to merge the mother table. So this is kind of the fact table, the mother table. So to merge, I'll go to home, I'll make sure the fact superstore table is selected. Then I'll look for the merge here and say merge query. The first table I want to merge is the ship mode. Okay, so I'll select ship mode colon here. I'll select dim ship mode. I'll make sure this is also selected. Once selected, you can see the selection matches 2000 of 2000 rows from the first table. So I'll click OK. After that, I'll click here. I don't want the original column name as prefix. So I'll make sure all is deselected. Then I select only ship mode ID. This way, the ship mode ID from this column, from this table, dim ship mode, will help us to link it to the mother table. Okay, the next one to do is to go back to the merge queries again. In that one, we'll select the segment also here. You can see there is match. Then I click OK. I go here again, select only segment ID, and then we have the segment ID here. The next one to do is the city. So let's go merge queries. For city, mind you, we combine 3 columns. The first one is state. The second one is region. So I'm pressing my control to select region. So you can see number 2 here, which means that the number 1, the state, the first column I selected is still there, highlighted. This is selected, which is showing to us that 2 columns have been selected. And the next one is city. So you can see it's 3. Remember, I press control. Okay, so now I'll go here and select the city table. Then you can see, and then you must select them in order. The order in which we selected is, so state first. So state will be number 1. And then when we go here, region is second. And then the next one is city. If you don't do that, you won't see the match here. Let's assume that I take out city. You can see. So city selected, and then I click OK. Then I'll go here, deselect all of them, and keep only the city ID. Okay, so we have this here. Okay. Now the next one is category. I go to merge query again. Then I'll select category and subcategory. Both of them are in one table. Then I'll select dim subcategory here. Make sure I select category first and then subcategory next. You can see the match down here. Then I'll click OK and maintain only the subcategory ID. Okay, now the last one is excuse me. The last one is manufacturer. So we select manufacturer. I'll select the manufacturer table. Then I'll make sure this is selected to match it. You can see the selection matches here. Then I click OK. I have done this many times in most of my videos. I'm doing this for those of you who are getting to know me through this video. Maybe this is your first ever video you are watching on my YouTube channel. Okay, so here we take out everything and maintain the manufacturer ID. Okay, very good. Now the next thing to do is to take out those columns that we use to create other tables. Number 1, ship mode. I said we wouldn't need the customer ID and the customer name, so they will be out. Now number 2, segment. We have state, we have category, subcategory. I scroll again. We have region, we have manufacturer, any other one, we have city. Okay, so I'll just right click, remove columns. Okay, so these have been removed. Now I think everything is okay. Now For my calendar table, you can see that the table here has some times. I don't need the times. So what I want to do is to just maintain only the date. So I'll just click here and select date. Very good. So this is what we have. We have only date selected here. Okay, so close and apply. Okay, so now that I have closed and applied, I'm now coming to my model view. Let's look at our model view. What do we have here? Is everything okay? So we have the dimension city table. Let me just put the cursor on it. You can see that city ID had already been linked with city ID in the mother table. The same thing applies to subcategory. Let me put my cursor here and see. Okay, so I want to see the full column here. Okay, so let me put my cursor here and see what I have. So you can see subcategory linked to subcategory. When I put my cursor here as well, manufacturer to manufacturer ID. When I put my cursor here, segment ID to segment ID. When I put my cursor here, ship mode ID to ship mode ID. If the relationship is not right, you can just right click on that relationship and delete it and just drag and drop it. Okay, so very good. I think we are looking very good. So far, so good. Now, we need to create a calendar table for our trend. So when you look at this, for example, we have this year here. We need to create a calendar table. You can also see this here. We need to create we need a calendar table for that as well. Okay, so let me go back to this and then let's go to table and click new table. I have the calendar table code here, which I've been using in most of my videos. I'll paste it here as well. I'll make that also available to you so that you can use it. Okay, so I press enter. What this is doing is that it's creating a new table. And you see the calendar auto here is going to every single table here and then looking for the date. It will get you the minimum date and the maximum date, and then out of that it will create the year, the month number, weekday, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have this now. Now we can go to our report view and start our work. Okay, now what I want to do today is going to be a bit different. I want to make everything faster, so I will create the measures and then we'll go through them. But where do I create my measures? First of all, I need to create a table to hold all my measures. So I'll go to enter data and I'm going to name that all measures. You can give it any name that you want, but I will make mine all measures. Then I'll click load. After that, you should see it added on top here. So let's wait for it to show. Now you see we have all measures as new table which has one column. So this is where I want to keep all my measures. What are the measures I'm going to create? I'll create measures for orders, for sales, and profit. I think that will be fine. So I'll create them. I'll take you through each one of them. Then we can continue. Okay, so to make everything faster, I've created the measures. Okay, so let's go through each one of them. We have the orders here. This will give us the number of orders. So this is counting the number of orders. Okay, we have the orders previous year. So this is calculating the previous year orders. So it's taking the orders that we created earlier and then it's checking the previous year against it. Okay, and then the next one is the orders variance. So orders variance, you see orders minus orders previous year. Okay, then we have the growth. For the growth, what we are doing is we are using the others variance, and then we are dividing it by the others previous year. Then we have the growth arrow. For the growth arrow, we have is checking if others is blank. If it is blank, make it blank. If it's not blank, now check if the other variance is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, so do this. If it is not, give us the others growth. Okay, append percentage to it and add the down arrow. The same thing was done for the top one. Okay, so we have the others color. For others color, this is helping us to give it a color. If it is greater or equal to 0, it makes it green. If it is less than 0, it makes it red. Okay, so let's go ahead and start designing our KPIs. First of all, let me change the size of my background. What I use is I customize it. So go to canvas settings, customize. The height is 900 and the width remain the same. Okay, so now I have a background already created. So let me go and browse that. I'll go to images and icons. I have a superstore PNG here. So I'll select it. After the selection, you realize it's not showing. So set this to 0. So we have this here now, and I want to make it fit. Very good. So first of all, let me drop in my slicer. I don't want this one. Okay, so we forgot to do one thing, that is for the calendar. So we need to link the calendar date to the date column in our fact table. So where's our calendar? I think it's done automatically. So let me just click here. So you can see that date is already linked to this. Very good. Okay, so let's go here. And then we bring in our first slicer. So I'm using the new slicer. Okay, so I'll select the year. Let me go to my calendar, select the year. Okay, so we have the list of the years here. I'll format it a bit. I don't want the title, and also I want the layout to have all the columns together. So it's going to be 4 columns and then 1 row. Okay, so resize it, then I'll bring it here. Okay, so the background of this, I don't need a background. Okay, and also I'll go to buttons. I don't want it filled and I don't want the border. Okay, so I'll select the accent bar by default and then bottom, and I want it to be 1. Okay, and when it is selected, I think I use a different color for that. Let me grab that color. Okay, so I use this color. Very good. Okay, but when it is selected, so let me just select 1 and see. When it is selected, I want the accent bar to be bigger. So what I'll do is I'll go to the apply setting state. I'll select selected. I'll come down here and make it 5. You can see it's bigger now, just that we are not seeing this again. So I'll go to the call out values, select selected, change the color to black, and then I'll make it bold and bigger. Okay, so I'll go back to the default state and make sure by default everything is centered. So we are good with this one. Now let me take my new card here, and my new card is going to have the number of orders. Okay, look at the sales. I'm adding the sales. So when I select the sales, you can see it's just a sum of the sales column, okay, in the fact table. So sales will be selected. So we have that also here. And the next one is the profit. So let's go to profit. Okay, so you can see sum of profit as well. So I'll select that. So we have it like this. Okay. Now let's format this new card to look like what we did earlier. Okay. So number one, I'll take out the background. I'll turn it off. Number two, I'll go to cards here. No background as well for this. And then I don't want any border. But I'll use an asset bar. And for the asset bar, I want it to be 1. And I want the color to be something like this. Okay. So I can bring it to the top here. Resize it. Okay. Now, my call out values will be 25. And also for this, I want to add the previous year growth and also this. You see this SVG that you have here is coming from Kerry Kolosko. We are going to her website to copy from there. Shout out to her. She's been doing some wonderful job. I saw her post this, that was last week or last 2 weeks, and I decided to just have a try. Okay, so let's go back here, and what we need to do now is to go to our reference, and in our reference, orders is already selected, so I'll add orders previous year, or I use the variance rather. So we have the variance. Okay, so you can see it's writing -1. Okay, which means that for 2022, 2023 is already selected. For 2022, it is 500. So let's select 2022 and see. So you can see it's 500. Okay, so we go back to 2023. So -1. This is the difference between last year and this year. Okay, and what we do is I'll make sure it is selected again. Okay, and I'll go to orders variance. I'll change the title, so custom, and then here instead of orders variance, I'll just write versus previous year or previous year. For the title, I'll reduce it to 10. I'll resize it to 10. Okay, so the value is -1. So for the value, I want to change the color of the value. So if it is -1, the color is red. So I'll go to conditional formatting, and I've already created a field value for that. So I'll just look for color, and then I'll select orders color. Then you can see that the color will change to red here. Okay, now aside the value, we have the detail, and the detail is going to contain what the orders growth arrow. Okay, so you can see it has the growth, and then it has an arrow here. I have done this severally in my past videos. I just decided that in this video, the measures are already created, and then I'll just show you how it is done. But you can see in other videos, I demonstrated most of them. I created most of them while you guys were practicing along. Okay, so we have this as well. Let's change the color of that. So we'll go to conditional formatting. We'll go to field value. Then I'll make sure I look for color. Then I'll select orders color. Then you can see that this has also changed to red. Very good. Now for value, I want it to be bold. Okay, the value will be bold, and then this is for the detail, which is fine. And I'll do the same thing for sales and profit. Okay, so quickly let's select sales. For sales, what we are doing is we are adding the sales variance. That's number one. We need to change the title. So I'll make sure I select sales variance. Now I'll now go to the title, go to content and change, select custom. If you don't select custom, you cannot change the text. So I'll select custom and change the text to previous year. And remember the text, I reduce the size to 10. Okay. Excuse me. So we go to value. In value, I want to change the value color, and we have also a measure created for that. So I'll go to field value. I'll look for color, and this time it is sales color. So I'll select that. You can see that it has changed to this. What is it doing? The sales color is just checking if the growth is greater or equal to 0. If it is greater or equal to 0, it is green, else it is red. Okay. Okay, so we do the same thing for the detail. So I'll go to detail. I'll go to sales growth arrow is what I need to select. So you can see it is here now. And what I need to do is to just change the color. So formatting, I'll go to field value. I'll look for sales color. Then I click OK. So you can see it is green here. Now I'll do the same thing for profit. So for profit as well, I'll go to profit, look for profit variance. I'll add it here. Now I need to change the name from profit variance to previous year. So profit variance, I'll select it, come to title, select custom, and then change the name to previous year. I'll reduce the size to 10. I'll go to value. The value color, I want it to change. So I'll go to field value. I'll look for color. This time it is profit color. Then I click OK. So you can see it is red now. Now I'll make it bold also. Now I'll go to detail. I'll add the profit growth arrow. Okay. I'll go to font. I want to change the color. So I'll use the same color I use, the same measure I use for profit. So profit color. So you can see everything is here. So now we are good. Let's do formatting, a bit more formatting. So I forgot to change that of sales. The value of sales is not bold. So quickly let me select sales and make it bold. I'll go to value and make it bold. Okay, so you can see now. Very good. Okay, so for reference, I don't need the color here. I don't need the splitter. So I'll select all in reference. Okay, I'll take out the divider. You can see. So we are good now. I'll go to spacing. I want to reduce the outer padding to maybe something like 5. So we can push this to the top there. Now I want it to be on the right side. Okay, so let me just select for others. I'll go to just a minute. So let's select all. When you select all, we go to layout, and then I'll click here. Then you can see all of them have moved to the right side, horizontal alignment. So you can see that. Now we need to add a spark line. Okay, so how did I do that? I went to Kerry Kolosko website. You go to template and select SVG templates. Okay, and you can see she has added some new stuff. It wasn't like this when I did my last video, and this is the one I use. Okay, so I will select this. I have demonstrated this in most of my videos as well. So fill to bottom, you just click here. Then I go back to my Power BI. I'll right click and then select new measure. Okay, so I just want to create one. I've already created it. I'll just want to take you through one so that you understand how I managed to get it done straight from the website. So I'm pasting this now. Look at it carefully. And here I'll just say sales sparkline 2. I've already created one. So this is going to be sales sparkline 2. Now look at it. I don't have any table called financials, but I have calendar.date. And also for the date, I'm not going to use the days. I'm going to use the month number. Okay, I've demonstrated this already in many of my videos. So I will make sure one is highlighted, financials date. I'll click Control Shift L on my keyboard. When you do that, everything is selected. L for love, L for life. Okay, so everything is highlighted. Now I'll start typing calendar and then I'll select the month number. I want to display it by month. Okay, so we have this now done. Now the next one is I have a measure sales, cost sales, not some profit. So I'll highlight this as well. Control Shift L for love or life. Then I'll change this to sales. Okay. Now the next one is, you see financials here. So I'll change this to calendar. Okay. And I think that is all. Now the next thing to do, I don't want to add this condition. I'll take it from here. Watch it carefully. I'll take this from here. And then I'll also take all this from here, all the way to the comma beside the SVG. Okay, this is it. So we should be good now. Then I press enter. Okay, so once done, we have this spark line already created. So let me select this here. And what I'm going to do is I'll go to images. In images, I'll make sure it is selected. I want to keep it for all for now so that I can use one. I can use all as example. Then the formatting, whatever I've done, is going to apply to all of them. You can do it one after the other anyway, but I'm going to use one for all, then I'll change the rest. Okay, so I'll on the image. I'll make sure image URL is selected. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to select, I'll click this button. That's the conditional formatting button. I'll go to, it's looking for a field value. Then I'll look for sparkline. So I have the sparklines already created, but this is the one I just created just to show you how I modified it directly from Kerry Kolosko website. Shout out to her. Fantastic job done. Okay, so I click here, then I click OK. Now when you do that, you don't see it. Sometimes you feel like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so you come down here, you look at the size of the image. Let's make it 100 and see if something will show. Oh, nice. Let's make it 120 and see if it is okay. Nice. Okay, very good. So now it means that I created the measures well. So what I'm going to do is now is that I'll change the one I use is for sales. I'll change that of orders and profit. And how are we going to do it? Let's look at how I created that of orders. So for orders, the only thing I did is the same code, but the only thing I did was to change sales to orders. So if you click Control Shift L, you have all orders, you change them. You understand? Okay, so I have that of orders, and the same thing I did for profit. Okay, so here I will now select orders and then make sure the spark line from orders is what is selected. So spark line, then I select orders. You see that it's a bit different because we've not changed the color. So I'll show you how I managed to change the color. Okay, so we do the same thing for profit. Okay, Okay, so now let's do that of profit. So I'm going to select the conditional formatting here, and then I'll look for sparkline, that of profit, selected. So we have that as well here. Only sales color is not the same as others. So let's just go to profit sparkline. You can see this is where I change the colors. So these are the colors I use. So let's go to sales sparkline 2, and then we change the colors here to this. So I press enter. Then you can see that it has changed. Okay, so we are done with the KPIs. We can proceed now to the next one. Okay, so which one is the next one? Sales by category. So let me quickly uh, bring in the visual that I use. So for that one, I use the decomposition tree. So let me click here. I'll select the category. So I'll go to dim subcategory. I'll select the category. Okay, now first of all, let's select the sales. Yeah, sales category and then subcategory. Okay, so when you do that, you click here, you have this, you click here, and then you have the subcategory. So we are going to format this, okay, so that we can easily fit it in here. Okay, so let's go here. I'll select dense. Okay, I think dense will be enough. Click here. Can drag it inside here, see if it is okay. Yeah, it looks perfect. It looks perfect. Okay, so what next? Take out the background, turn it off, and then what else do I need to do? Here I selected something like round. Okay, for the bars, there is a particular color I use. So let me bring in the color for the. Okay, so I think I have it. No, not the line, it's rather the bars. So sorry, I should have selected bars here, and then I go to color, positive bars. I'll select this. We should be fine here. Okay, very good. I don't like the way this is. This has because we just have some few uh, subcategories there. Okay, so let me just see if there is another. No, there is collapse also, which is fine. There's another option that I need to use, but this should be fine. Let me drag it a bit up and then collapse this here. We should be good now. Okay, very good. Okay, so the next one is to bring in our donut chart. This one was used for the segment. So I'll select segment and then I'll select sales. Okay, so the legend, I don't want it to have a title, and I want them to be bottom centered. Okay, so I can reduce now, resize this, use the size to something like this. Okay, and for the slices, home office, I use this, corporate, I use this, but a bit brighter, so I go here. Okay, so for consumer, I selected the same thing. Then I go to more color, and then I selected something brighter like this. Okay, and then I reduce the spacing. I increase the spacing to 80%. That's fine. So we are good for this. The last thing to do is to turn off the background. Okay, Now, the next one is to work on our regions here. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. We have the state. Okay, so sales by state is what we have. I use the shape map here. So let's go back here. Then I bring in the shape map. Okay, so we have our shape map here. Okay, so for the shape map, I'll select the sales, and then I'll go to city and select the state. Okay, so you can see them here. Now let's format it a bit. I'll turn off the background. I'll go to map settings. I'll go to the zoom, auto zoom, zoom on selection. Okay, and then I'll go to fill colors. I'll select this, my color. Okay, then I'll go to blank areas. If it is blank, it should show maybe white. Okay, and then I want to change the border to something like this, or I can change the border to the color I'm using to see how it looks like. This is fine. Now I want, when I put my cursor here, it shows something different. So for that, maybe we can continue and come and do it later. So when I put my cursor here, you can see some tooltip. So let's do that of sales by regions. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, okay, so what we need to do for the sales by region, okay, is to we should create the tooltip right away. Let's create the tooltip right away. Okay, so we create a tooltip. So here I'm going to name this one city TT. So it's going to be city tooltip. So I'll go to, so for the tooltip, we go to canvas settings. We change this one to tooltip. Okay, so we can now bring in a table. So I use a table for that. So we bring in a table. Then for the table, we need the city. We need the sales growth arrow. Okay, and then what I need next is the sales bar. Okay, so the sales bar is just a copy of sales. So you see the sales has a sum of all sales columns in the fact table, and then here I just created another measure which is equal to the sales above here. Okay, so we'll bring in the sales bar, and then we bring in the sales itself. So you can see that both sales bar and sales have the same value. There is one we want to change to data bar, and then the other we leave it like that. Okay, so let's format this quickly. For sales growth, we can just leave it as growth. Now for sales bar, we just leave it as sales. So I'll double click. I'll use sales for this. And then for this one, I can just put space there, and that is fine. Okay, so what I need to do next is to format. So I'll go to my values. That's number one. The alternate background color will be white, same as the above. We'll go to the grid. In the grid, we turn this off. Okay, and then for the border here, this one, this blue here, we make it maybe something like this. Okay, so what next? We turn off the total values, so that is off. let's go and see if this is working so far. So I'll go back to my page one here, select this, and then I'll go to properties. I'll go to tooltip. Report page is already selected here. Now the page is not going to be auto, it's going to be our city TT. When I put my cursor here, you can see that we have this here. Now let's continue the formatting. So I'll go back here, and I want this color I want this to change when it is green, or when it is less than 0 or greater. So let's go to cell element. We select the group. Okay, we go to font color here. Then I'll select the field value. In field value, I'll select color. So this is going to be sales color. You can see that it is green by default. Okay, so we have this and the sales here. I want to change it to data bar. So I'll just select, let me select it again. I have this here. I'll right click on the sales bar column. I'll go to add conditional formatting. Then I'll go to data bars. In data bars, I want to still maintain my color. So I'll just copy and come and paste it here. That's the color I want to use. And make sure you select this because I want to show only the bar. So I'll click OK. Then we have only the bar here. Okay, so let me drag this way. And this, I want to format it to be only in case, in thousands. So I'll go to column headers, a specific column, sorry. I'll select sales. No, it is the last one. Remember, we changed the last one to be blank. So you just select this, and then you go to display unit, you change it to thousands. So we have this. With this, I can afford enough space for myself. I'll bring it somewhere here. And I want this to be in descending order. So when I click, you can see this here. Now, when you hover over this, it doesn't show the state, which is not good. So let's show the state here. So what I'm going to do is to bring in the old card, the usual card. Then I'll select state. Once state is selected, I'll format it by removing the category label. I'll go to call out values. I'll change it to something like 15. Okay, when I do that, then I can resize it and put it on top here. Okay, so let me resize it to be on top here. Okay, this is good. Now let's go back here and see how it looks like. Okay, so this is it. I can reduce the size knowing very well that the cities are not many. So let me just click anywhere here, go to tooltip, canvas setting, select custom. Okay, and the height, I want to make it 200. Okay, so maybe I can also make it 150. Okay, so that way I can go back here and know I've gotten some space. Okay, so this is good. Now the next one is to have the various regions. So when you go here, let's go to overview. You can see the regions separate here. How did I do that? So what I did was to just copy this. I copied this. Okay, sorry, let me drag and drop it here. Okay, so and then I went to filter, and in filter I added region, and then in that region I selected central. And in this case, another thing I did was to remove blank areas, so I didn't show this. Okay, then I reduce it. Let me remove the title. I reduce it, then I put it somewhere here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this 4 times. I need to reduce this size. So I'm going to copy this 3 more times. I can bring it down a bit. Sorry, copy, paste, paste, and then the last one, paste here. Okay, so the second one is going to be east. The third one is going to be south, and the last one is going to be west. Okay, and for this, what I did was to use the normal color, so I forgot to change that one. For each one of them is going to be the normal color. For this also the normal color, and then this also the normal color. Okay, so we have this here, and the next one is to bring in a card, and that card will have the sales. Okay, so I'm going to format this before I make the changes. So the call out value will be 25. I'll turn off the background. So this one is going to be for the first one, which is, I need to disable this tooltip here to be another one rather. But let's leave it for now. Okay. So I'll bring this here. With this, we need to also filter it. So for the filter, I'll go back here again, add the region. So I'll drag region here, and then I'll just say I need only for central. Okay, so I can change the top one, the field name to central. Okay, so now what I need to do is to copy and paste this 3 times. So this is for the second one. This is for the third one. And then this one is for the last one. Okay, so I may have to move this up. Then I'll move this up a bit. Okay, so let me just change the size again, the call out value to 20. I'll change this one also to 20. I'll change this to 20 as well. This also will go to 20. Okay, so now the next one, we need to do the filter. So the next one is going to be east. Then I'll change the field name to east. The next one is going to be south. Then I'll change the field name to south as well. The next one is going to be west. So I'll select West, then I'll change the field name to West. Okay, so, and the next is I'll bring in another card, or I can use the existing card since it's already formatted. So I'll copy this. I think it's already copied. I'll paste it, and this is going to be here. Now for this one, instead of sales, I'm going to use the sales growth arrow. Okay, so this is what we have. We don't need a category label, do we? Let me check what we have here, but we don't really need. So for category label, what I just added was versus previous year. So we can still leave the category label there, make it 10, and then it's going to be versus previous year. Okay, and then I want to change the color. I'll use the formatting on the category value, the call out value. So I'll go here and just use the color. So it's going to be field value. Here will be color. So it's going to be sales color. So you can see it here. Now let's reduce this to 15. So I'll copy and paste this 4 times. Three more times rather. So we have this here. I'll bring this also down here. And then for the last one, I'll drop it here. Okay, so let's filter this to be east. Let's filter this to be south. And then let's filter this to be west. Very good. So we have this already now. We need to add the tooltip for this. So the tooltip is, let's add a new tooltip. Sorry, I can just copy and paste this. I can just duplicate this. So let's duplicate this. Then we take out this one. Instead of the region is going to be, instead of state, this is going to be region. Okay. And then let me go and bring in my clustered column bar. Okay, so clustered column bar here. And for that, I'm going to use the sales, and we are going to use the sales month. So it's going to be month number. Let's use month, yes, month. Okay. So for now, let's do our formatting. No background. Okay, so for x-axis, we don't need a title. For y-axis, we don't need a title. Okay, so for the columns, I use this color. I actually did a bit of formatting, so I use this color here for the highest. And then for the lowest, I selected the same color, just that I came back in, went to more color, so I can select something brighter from there. Then I click OK, it will add a legend. So what you do is to disable the legend from there. Okay, so let's now make this bigger. So I'll click anywhere here, go to canvas settings. I'll go to the width. The width, I'll make it 350 so that I can afford enough space here. And I'll click anywhere again, go to the height, maybe 220. This will allow me to reduce the size. Okay, so now we don't need a title there. So sales by month, you can just take it off. So this is okay. Just don't like the way this is not well aligned here. So let's go back there. Select anywhere here. Make this 370 so that you can get enough space. Let's make it 400. I can just go and change the name from January to J, but that's okay. So let's make the width 400. Okay, so this way we should be fine. Okay, very good. So this is another tooltip, and this is going to be, let's say, region tooltip. So region TT. So I'll go back to the page one, and for each region, I'm going to select that tooltip page. So I'll go to properties, I'll go to tooltip again, and here I'll select region TT. This also, I'll select region TT. For this, the same thing. And then for the last one, same. Very good. So when I hover here, you can see that is bringing this radar for east. Very good. So now we need a message to let the user know that they can hover. So hover and state to see the cities cells. So this way we can just drag and drop it here and turn off its background. Okay, so we'll do, I can use this now as a title. I can use this to get a title for this guy here. So sales by category. Sales by category. This is going to be bold and 12. Okay. Now I'll copy it, then paste it here, and this is going to be sales by region. Okay, very good. So we need to add a message for the hovering. So let me select all this, make sure everything is selected. I want to push it a bit up so I can get some space down there. So this is going to be up. You can still take it up. I still want, okay, so this is fine. Very good. So I'll copy this, paste it down here, and say hover on a region to see its sales, the sales trend. Okay, very good. So what is left for us to do? Let's go back here. For this one, I use matrix, so let's quickly do that. So I can bring in my caption right away. So this is going to be sales by subcategory. And then the last one is going to be sales by manufacturer. So I'll put this here. Sales by manufacturer. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, so for this, I'm bringing in the matrix. Here we are Let me drag it somewhere here. Let's look at how this is going to be done. Okay, so the first thing to do is to bring in the subcategory. So we have the list of subcategories here. Now we bring in the month. So you see the month on top here, and then the next one is the sales. Okay, so you can see sales for each one of the months all the way here. So we'll start formatting. So first, no subtotal, no row subtotal. Number two, let's go to number two. Let's go to values, change this to be white, the alternate background color to be white. This is okay. Number three, let's go to grid. In grid, what we need to do is I want to allow this, and I also want to allow this. Okay, but I can turn it off again for you to see what exactly I want to do. For this one, let's make it white. Okay, so you can see we don't have anything there. Very good. So now what's going to happen is I'll go to cell element. In cell element, the background color, I want to change it. Look at it. The moment I click, this is what we get. Even with that, I want to change the color to the color we'll be using. So let me copy that color again. I'll come to the highest here. I'll set this, and then I'll come to the lowest also. I'll select it, just that. I'll go back to make it something like this. Okay. Then I click OK. Very good. So you see that the color has changed. Now some people prefer to keep the font clear like this, but I also want the font to match the background color. So I'll go to the font also. You can see I'll click here, select highest, same color. Then for the lowest, same color, just that. I'll go back and change the color to something like this. Okay, I want it to match exactly what is there. So let me just copy this from here. I'll go to more color, copy it just in case it's not matching. So you can see that this is okay. I did this in one of my videos too. So now we have this here. Now I'm going back to the grid. There was something I was doing in my grid. So let's go to the grid. In the grid, I want to enable the horizontal line, grid line, and then the vertical as well. In doing so, I'm going to get some space, some line in between, and I want the line to be white. Okay, vertical also, I want it to be white. Okay, now let's make it 2. Let's see. Okay, let's make the top one also 2. Okay, very good. So we can see some space in there. Okay, so now what I want to do is to push it to this side a bit. Now I'll bring in, let me make sure this is saved. I'll bring in a clustered bar chart. Okay, so for the clustered bar chart, number one, I'm going to use the sales, and I'm going to use the subcategory. Okay, so now look at this. I want to put it here so that it matches what we have. But accessory is what we have first. So what you have to do is to make sure you sort it by subcategory. Okay, and then it should be in ascending order. Okay, so now let's do formatting. Background, turn off. X-axis, values, no need. Title, no need. So let me make sure title is off. Okay. Y-axis, title no need, values no need. Okay, now let's go to the bars. What color do I want to use? This same color here. Okay, but we are going to we are going to use conditional formatting. So I'll reduce this to be here. I'll do it like this. We don't need a title for this. Okay, so we can reduce it to be down here. Now I want to use conditional formatting for the bars. Let's go back here. There was one I copied for the lowest, is here. And then I'll copy our color. I'll use our color here for this, and then I can click OK. It's going to bring this legend again. So let's just take it off. So we have this like this. And whenever you do it like this, always make sure you put your cursor there to see what's the subcategory. Binders. Do we have binders on the same line? Very good. So what's this storage here? Very good. Now I can copy this, paste it. Okay, so once pasted, what I want to do is I want to change it to this clustered column chart. So you can see it's like this now. But in this case, I want to use the month to be the X. So excuse me. So instead of subcategory, I'll go to calendar, month here. So you can see we have this. For the x-axis, I don't need a title. Now we need to do it in a way that it is turned upside down. So look at it here. What we have here is not turned upside down. So I'll just go to y-axis, and then in y-axis there is invert right here. So once that is done, then I can go here and then make sure it is kind of close to it, and you can see there's too much space in between. So I'll go to the columns itself, then I'll go to layout, make it maybe 10. Sorry, let's make it 10. Okay, so it's looking like it's getting there. Let me see if I shift it. Is it okay? So instead of 10, let's make it 8 and see. Or 7. Yeah, this looks okay. Yeah, this looks okay. Very good. So we are almost through. Let me turn off the background of this one. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is for the manufacturer. Let's look at how the manufacturer is done here. Okay, so we use the same table, just that we added some image. But where are we going to get the image? There is another table I have for image. You can choose to go ahead without the image. That is fine. Let me first go and copy this table from here. It's kind of the same thing that we need. So I'll copy this table. I'll bring it here and then paste it. Don't need a filter again. So this is pasted right here. And the first thing to do is to go here, replace city by manufacturers. So we select manufacturer. Then we have all the manufacturers there. So it has the sales already, which we need. It has the growth also. The only thing it's not showing is the image. Okay, so let's go to transform data and bring in a new table. So what we are going to do is we bring in that table that has an image. We merge it with the manufacturer table. So I'm going to new source. I'll bring in a new CSV file. This is in data. So manufacturer images. So I'll bring it down here. I'll click OK. Now here you can see that the column names are in row 1. So what you do is you go to use first row as headers. Now the next thing is I'll go and select manufacturer. Make sure I'm in the home tab. I will select merge queries. We have already done some merge queries exercise. So now you can see I'll select manufacturer here. I'll select manufacturer images. Make sure they are linked. You can see 6 of 6 row. Then I click OK. Now I will only make sure I maintain only the image. Okay. In doing so, you can have the image here linked to each one of the manufacturers. Now I'll close and apply. After closing and apply, there is something we need to check from the model view. So let's go to our model view. We don't really need to link this. So let's just take it out. Right click and delete because the image is already in the manufacturer table itself. So this table is really not needed. Okay, so you come back here. Now we need to bring in the image. But before then, when you go direct to add the image to this table, make sure the table is selected. You add the image directly to the table. Look at what we get. It doesn't look nice. So it means that you have to select image itself, go to data category and make it image URL. The moment you do that, then you see that the images will start showing. So we are waiting for the images to show. Then you can see we have them here. Now let's bring them to the first side. So you can see the images here. We need to reduce the size of those images. So I'll go to image size, then I'll change it to 25. Okay, so in doing this, you can see that even the logos can show that these are that you can see HP, Apple, Dell, and all this. So we can remove the manufacturer name. You can remove it, you can leave it there. That's it's up to you. So you can see that we have this now. Well done. Now, what else? Is there anything that we have forgotten? Yes, we have forgotten to subscribe, like, and share. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. So the next thing to do is to just put in the title. So, and then I think we are done. So let's just copy this. Let's just copy this and paste it. Bring it to the top here and just say Superstore dashboard. So it's going to be sample Superstore dashboard. So we'll make it maybe 24. We'll make it bold. The color should be something like this. No, let's go to more color, and then we go to for something that is a bit deep. Okay, so we have this now. This will be italic. So yeah, so this is it. This is what I wanted to share with you. You can make it better. You can even create different pages. This is only sales, so you create another one similar. That will be for orders. You create another one similar for profit, so that when someone navigate to orders, it's only order stuff that are showing. The same thing can be done for profit. So don't stop there. You can make it better. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. See you next time.